Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now.
Dustin, man. I want to start with this, man. I saw the photo that you posted of you on a mountain range with some skis on your back. What's going on there? Because the caption really doesn't tell us much.
Uh, no. So that was in Switzerland, which is about 3.5, 4 hours away from where I live, in the Brunno over Upperland, the Highlands. And yeah, my wife and I just went out and went on a hike. I knew there was some snow up there, and I got a split board recently, so I wanted to test it out. So once we got up there, I strapped on my hiking skis and hiked a bit in the snow and played around with it a little bit. Wasn't really worth it for lugging the skis around for 6 hours, but it was still fun.
All right, so not much skiing happening because I didn't see a photo of you skiing actually.
No, not much skiing. There's some videos, but it's like short. It's just on a patch of snow up on the top of the mountain.
Nice,
Um,
nice.
but it was more to test uh, the hiking with the skis. Um, you put the skins on, and then you can just sort of walk up the mountain.
Is that something you do often? Is hiking mountains and stuff like that?
Yeah, not at like a really super high level mountaineering, but hikes, yeah. So there's a smaller mountain range near where I live in the Fedzabide and the French side of it, the Vogese. And then down in Switzerland, when we have the chance, and Black Forest isn't far away. So we like to get out and yeah, just hike around a little bit, get out in the nature.
You ever
And
been
then when I'm out
lost?
here in Vegas, I try to get out too. Not badly. I get a little turned around sometimes
Mhm.
where I'm not quite sure where I am, but never to the point where I was worried about it. More of like, oh, this is going to take a lot longer than I thought.
Well, you're still here. You seem like you're pretty well
Still here.
versed. Now, man, ahead of your last fight, man, you had a long layoff. This time, it's a way much quicker turnaround. How does it feel to be active? How does it feel to be in this mode so quickly?
Well, I mean, it's not that much of a quick turnaround. It's going to be 6 months by the time I fight, which is longer than I wanted. I wanted to fight back in uh, end of April, early May, but it is what it is. Um, I feel good, ready to get back at it. So yeah, this is what I wanted. I wanted to fight multiple times in a year. I would love to get uh, two or three in this year for once, and not just uh, almost once a year, or twice a year if I'm lucky. Um, would like to actually be an active fighter for a little bit. That would be nice.
Yeah, you're heading to Louisville, Kentucky, and I was looking at it. You fought like four straight times in an arena, man. It's people are complaining. Fighters are complaining about fighting in the Apex. You just luckily end up on cards in arenas. So, is there a psychological effect like during fight week? Are the fight weeks different? Like the experiences that you have, like compared to like the Apex?
A little bit. Fight week itself is much nicer when it's at the Apex. They put us in the hotel, the UFC hotel here in Vegas, and so we get two suites. Everyone has enough room. Um, that's much more comfortable. On the road, they only give us one hotel room, and um, yeah, I'm not making the kind of money that I can just spend on hotel rooms for the whole week. So it gets a little cramped, but my team's used to it, and we just yeah get a little cozy.
Okay, that's the positive word to use. Cozy. Um, Bruno Ferreira, man. What do you see in him and the fighting style that he possesses?
I see an explosive, dangerous guy that has a lot of openings and could potentially tire himself out pretty quickly. So big power striker, a little bit like Puna was, but more explosive, more dynamic, but also less clean. I think Puna's the more technical striker. Bruno is very wild, very dynamic, moves around a lot more.
And maybe volume is there a difference, like stark difference between Puna and Ferreira in their volume of punches or strikes?
They're being aggressive fighters and power punchers. They're going to have a high volume when they're winning, and they're going to have a very low volume when they're not feeling so hot. So if you put a fighter like that under pressure, they tend to shell up. But if they can get a momentum streak going, then they just open up and just go all out on you.
Yeah, we've seen that, multiple times from both guys. And Ferreira, he has 12 pro fights. Only two have went into the second round. What can we speculate? Like from a coach's lens, from a fighter's lens, what can we speculate from that statistic?
I mean, it means that that he hits very hard and that he hits his entries very well. It also means that when the rounds go a little bit further, that's untested for him. So you won't really know how that feels at the higher level. So if I can get him to the second, third round, that's definitely going to be an advantage for me. Um, but that being said, we're big guys out there and we hit hard. So even a tired Bruno is going to be a dangerous Bruno.
And let's go back to your last fight against Puna Soriano. Crazy first round. You showed off some of your striking in that round as well. Take me through that first 5 minutes from your perspective.
So I felt like I was a little clumsy in the beginning, which I often am in my fights. Uh, just not moving my feet super well, but got my rhythm, got my distance, uh, and I mean I'm a better striker than I let on. Um, I I tend to get a little bit tight and a little bit nervous in fights, especially in the first round. So once I get my rhythm, I I felt good, and then obviously putting them down at the end of the first was a huge confidence boost, and then just kept working on from there in the second.
Yeah, chipping away. You get the finish in the second round. After the fight, you said that that was a performance you can be proud of. What could you go into detail about that? You know what I mean? Like maybe the psychological effects moving forward. Having a performance like that.
Yeah, so it's no secret that my UFC run hasn't been super successful, and even the other win that I have in the UFC against Dwight, I was super happy about the win. There were some good moments in there, but it wasn't a fight where I was like, "This is a fight." I feel like I really showed what I can do out there. I felt sort of clumsy, sort of stiff and slow, and I don't feel like I did a super good job out there, but it was enough for the win against Puna. Once I got my rhythm, I felt I did well in the striking. I wasn't getting hit that much. When I did get hit, it was really hard. Uh, Puna has a different kind of power than most other guys. So, um, but I wasn't getting hit a whole lot, despite how the commentators were commentating on the fight in the beginning. And I felt like I was chipping away at them, finding my range. And then once I got a hold of them, especially later on in the fight, then it was in my world. So it was just nice to go out there and not be held back by my own insecurities or my own stress, and show a little bit of what I can do. So that was nice.
Was it the healthiest you've ever been, like heading into a fight, your career, UFC career?
I don't think so. I've been healthy for most of my fights. The Dawkins fight was the only one that I was sick. Um, the Abu's fight, I wasn't feeling great, but it was a quick turnaround, and I never really had time to rest. But I also didn't feel bad. So really, the Kyle Dawkins fight was the only one where I felt sick. The rest was more me getting in my own way, really. So it's not like I've been sick every fight, but I have been sick between fights a lot.
Could you talk about that? You getting in your own way and battling that, because I feel like a lot of fighters, that's their worst enemy is themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's when it comes to anything that's of high value, we tend to be our own worst enemy in a lot of ways. Um, the the expectations, realistic or unrealistic, that we set in front of ourselves sometimes distract what we need to do in that moment. So, for example, in a fight, you go out there and you have this plan, you have these techniques, you have these combinations that you've been working on, and you know they should work, and you know that you know how to do them. and you mess up, or your opponent just reacts really well and it doesn't work the way you want it to. Instead of beating yourself up about it, just moving on and, okay, what do I need to do now? If that's not working, or if that just didn't work that time, what do I need to do moving forward to make the best out of this situation, and not, harp the whole time on things that you're doing wrong in the moment, or, oh, well, but I should be doing this, I should be doing that. It's like, well, what do you need to do now? And that's something that I tend to have trouble with in general, and then especially with the losing streak and everything at the beginning of my career, it just sort of built up and really hampered my performance.
It seems like, a lot of fighters are perfectionists in a sport that it's very hard to be a perfect at. You know what I mean? It's like probably impossible to be perfect at.
Yeah, it's why you can get really, really technical guys that struggle. And then you get guys like Sean Strickland, who I've been training with this camp. He's not like, when you look at his technique and stuff, he's not like a world beater in anything. He's not like this amazingly good guy. But he just puts it together, and he doesn't get in his own way. He just goes forward and does what he needs to do. And that is so valuable as a fighter. And sometimes just saying, like, it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough. And it's an amazing weapon that he and some other guys have. Where other guys could be that good or better, and they're just not, because they can't put it together. They just keep nerves and negative energy just keeps them from doing what they need to do in the moment.
Are you saying we should all be more like Sean Strickland, a little bit like him?
You can just take that clip and just take it exactly like that.
Okay.
We should all be exactly like Sean Strickland all the time. Yes, that's right.
But I think like it's helpful to have a guy like that at the gym, where he's just like fearless, and it almost kind of rubs off on you a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good for me, as far as like personality. Sean is super, super different than I am, but it is nice to have that and to see how things work out for him, and how he's able to use his strengths really, really well. And to just sort of see that, observe that, and have it rub off of me a little bit. I don't need to share all of his weird opinions,
No.
but
No.
he's a great fighter and a great team leader. So
you're in camp right now in Vegas at Xtreme Couture. It's kind of a trip because the guy you fought last was Xtreme Couture. The coach that you're working with at Xtreme Couture was in the corner of the last fight. Like, how did that all happen? How did that all materialize?
So a lot of the guys that are extreme now, I started training with back when I first started training in Vegas. A lot of guys have shuffled around in gyms in the last couple of years, and so I've known some of them for, how long has it been now? 3 or 4 years. And so they're all there and they're working together. And for most of my camps that I've been here in Vegas, I've trained at Xtreme a little bit. I've supplemented with the hard sparring that they do, with the more technical work that I did elsewhere at Syndicate, at 10th Planet, and the work that I do with coaches and training partners aside from that. This time it just felt right, especially after the fight with Puna, to go back there, and they have a group of guys in my weight class that is just super high level. And so just to come out here, and every day you're in with this strong group of guys with a really good team mentality. It's all guys about in my weight class, so you don't get rounds off or you get put on with someone who's lighter than you. It's just all high level welterweights, middleweights, and light heavyweights in the group. So it was great to just go in, get a rhythm of, hey, we're coming in, we're fighting for an hour, and then pick your body up off the mat, rest a little bit, and then train again.
There you go. Yeah, it's a long list of guys, you know what I mean, that you're training with. Guys from the PFL, Bellator, UFC, and even guys coming up that no one knows about that are killers, you know, in Vegas. Yeah, man, it's great to see. And you know, not to be lost in this, you do have your team that are formulating the game plan and stuff in Germany, right? They'll be in your corner as well, right? They're gonna fly in.
Yeah, so my team and my coaches are still going to be my German team and coaches. We did some as soon as we got the fight, we did some pretty intensive strategizing and okay, this are the sort of things that we want to do. Drilled a lot of things, and then I came here. And so I took the things that I was drilling, took the strategies and the concepts that I want to be working on into my training over here. I stay in contact with my coaches, and when they're coming over, um, yeah, this coming week we're meeting up in Louisville already. Then we start putting those pieces together and start getting ready for the fight. Nice thing is Eric from Xtreme Couture is also going to be there on that fight night because Puna and a couple of other of his guys are also fighting in Louisville. So uh, we'll all be able to sit down together and brainstorm and exchange information, what my coaches expect from me and have seen me do for years, and for Eric, what he sees in me as a former opponent of one of his guys, and what I've been doing in the gym every day for the last month or so.
It's great to get that perspective of a coach that has prepared against you to kind of tell
Yeah.
you like what they were seeing. You know what I mean? It's great to have that. I've heard many fighters talk about
Oh
that.
yeah, best way to learn.
Yeah, yeah. What are your expectations, man, in this fight? What type of performance are you looking for out of yourself? You know, you had that performance last time. Is it just riding the momentum?
Yeah, I mean, I need a sort of similar performance this time as what I had last time. I need to stay clean, stay sharp, not get over anxious, um, and or over eager, and just stick to my game plan. And yeah, not stand in front of the guy and let myself get hit, but keep working, looking for those openings, whether it's standing up or on the ground. But um, yeah, as I said, he doesn't fight like Puna did, but it's sort of the same kind of fight. You get an explosive, hard hitting guy that you need to neutralize so that he's not always moving forward, and then counter and break down. So that's what we need to do.
One question about the division. You know, when you look at the middleweight division at the top, it's predominantly fighters that are considered strikers, right? And you know, like a high level grappler, like a guy that goes in there, implements a grappling game plan against all of these strikers. How does that person do at the top of the division? What do you think?
Well, a lot of these strikers have very, very good distance control. And then again, if we're using Sean as an example, Sean has really good counter grappling and wrestling. It is very hard to take him down, and it is even harder to hold him down. And then since his cardio is so good, then he just beats you up. You get a guy like Izzy, and yeah, he's not that great on the ground compared to maybe myself or a lot of other guys in the division, but his distance control is great. His angles work is excellent, and he'll piece you apart trying to get in on him. So yeah, they're strikers, but they are high level mixed martial artists too. So yeah, I mean, if you get a guy like me or some other good grappler in the division that gets a hold of them without getting rocked on the way in, yeah, then they have uh, a great chance of winning. But that's a lot of ifs. That's a lot of things to get through first.
Yeah, it is. It is, man. It's like I'm very like looking forward to seeing what Hamzat does against Whitaker, because I think that'll be the very like because Hamzat's a grappler, right? That likes to strike, that will brawl with you, but he's originally a grappler, so I would like to see if he could implement that. Because you know when you look at someone like Alex Pereira, right? Like everybody's like, you just need to take him down. His grappling's not that good, and then he just knocks everybody out. It's
Well,
sometimes
his hands are also down where you're trying to shoot, so you need to walk into those dynamites to take him down first. So
You make
No
a great
thanks.
point. Walk into those dynamites first. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Survive the dynamites, and you might be able to take them down, right? Hey, your shirt, Saskatchewan, like that's the OG shirt, right? Is that the one from Joey Diaz? What do you start?
No,
It's
this is Susquehanna. This is
yeah.
the major river system in Pennsylvania,
Oh,
um,
really?
right near,
You
yeah,
you ever
right near where I'm from.
okay?
Yeah.
You ever seen the Joey Diaz Joe Rogan? Like this was from like 10 years ago when they smoked weed together, and the weed wasn't that good, and Joey Diaz was like, "Dude, you can't give me this Susquehanna weed, man. Like this Susquehanna weed is like terrible as shit." Like he goes off on the rant, and that's the only way I know that place. So hey, this actual place, I didn't even know that.
I know Joe Rogan wears a Lancaster archery
Oh
T-shirt
yeah,
or hoodie
yeah, yeah.
sometimes when it's like, hey, I know where that is. Yeah,
Nice. Hey
but yeah,
man,
Susquehanna is just the river system. Yeah.
okay, I learned. Hey, when I talk to you, I always learn something, man. Something new, something different. June 8th, Louisville, Kentucky. Dustin, man, thank you so much for the time, and it was incredible watching you have that performance last time. And most people they don't expect anything less, man. And I'm pretty sure you don't expect anything less either.
Yeah. Thank you.